Caravan. It's a 2005 Caravan. So they're 2 months behind. So basically, what I have done was made some repairs to the O2 sensor circuit. Basically, man, I don't know why people still do this. But ladies and gentlemen, this, wow, spitting out low volts, spitting out all kinds of crazy fault codes. And my favorite is when a customer tell me, I just had that replaced. It's not about how long ago you replaced it, it's about the quality of parts that you're using. And this, my friend, I'm not gonna dog any aftermarket parts out. Now, and I still say aftermarket parts are okay. If they willing to give you some type of warranty on this stuff, then that means they put some thinking behind their when they built their parts. You know, they expect quality out of their parts. So there's nothing wrong with aftermarket sensors, only if they offer warranties behind it. But this, my friend, was spitting out low voltage code, high voltage code, heater circuit, and I just simply ended up replacing it with OEM quality, OEM O2 sensor. Okay, this is an OEM, meaning Mopar. It was built for Mopar. It was built for this. It was built for this vehicle. The part number matches or whatever. So what I'm about to do, ladies and gentlemen, is go on a drive cycle. Okay, I'll go over that with y'all. All right, let's get with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am in the van, and wow, as you can see, 296. The camera acting crazy trying to pick it up. 296,000 miles. And I got the car pulled up on my scan too. Remember the DRB scan too I talked about? Let's go into OBD2 monitors. What we're looking for, what we're gonna be looking at is come on, baby, come on. What we're looking for is let's go into car readiness status. Let's see how many we have to get. Okay, we have a total of 4. All right, remember what I talked about last time? You need basically 75% to say yes, to be ready. Okay, so the easiest ones to do would be everything but the evap system leak. That has to be ran on an overnight soak. So if I was you, I would concentrate on the O2 sensors, the cat, just the O2 sensor and the cat, because the heaters are part of the O2 sensor. All right, so I can't film while I'm driving, so I'm gonna go drive this. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying to do is get at least 3 of these to say yes. Now let me go over something real quick. Let's pick the cat. I'm gonna show you some what it's looking for before it even start testing. This, remember I told you, man, it's all about parameters. Let's go in the cat pre-test and see exactly what it will be looking for, so I can try to get in this range. Okay, so to even start, I gotta be at a temperature range. Can y'all see that? I gotta be of a temperature range of 150 and 260. I'm there. Run time between 2 and 13 minutes. I'm there. Cat temperature 900, between 900 and 1600. Not quite there, but I'm sure if I drive it, that cat will heat up quickly. Now once those parameters are met, then you just look at this window. See, I don't even know if y'all using scan tool, but basically let the car warm up, then go drive it. And as you can see, the range, RPM range they want you at is between 20 and 55 RPM. I mean vehicle speed. And RPM, of course, they want you at a certain range. So it's all about parameters. All right, I'm gonna try to get in these parameters, because remember, my goal is to make at least 3 of these say yes. All right, and actually, since I had the car running, this was an overnight soak. My leak detection has already ran. I started this thing up right after I screwed the O2 sensor in outside. So this was a cold soak. So I might get lucky and all 4 show yes. All right, I'm about to go on the drive, man. I'll get back with y'all in a second. Let's get it. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this phone is flickering. I have all monitors saying yes. Remember, the small leak evap purge system monitor will only run on an overnight cold soak. The only reason that was showing yes, because I erased the code after I made the repair, and then I started the car up and it'll run just sitting there idling. First thing in the morning on an overnight soak, cold. So when I started it, the monitor just automatically started running. It has a couple of parameters it has to meet. For instance, it can't be below a quarter tank of gas. All right. So all these monitors are yes. This car is now ready for emissions. All right. So that's all I have, man. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Alrighty, guys, real quick, let's talk. All right, my channel is filled with brand new up and coming mechanics. I'm aware of that, right? So from time to time, I would do a video directed toward them. All right. So get this, guys. I'm getting ready to do a radiator leak, right? It's leaking coolant. See all of this? Yeah. Now, when you're getting ready to do a radiator, you got to remove the upper hose and the lower hose. But guess what we're gonna use, guys? Y'all see this? This is a neat little tool. That is simply because it is very much well needed. All right, if you don't have one of these, young fellas, you might want to get you one. That is simply because the typical pliers cannot get to this tensioner clamp. Y'all see that tensioner clamp down there? Y'all see the weird position it's in? Yeah, even with the car in the air, I cannot get to this tensioner clamp. Okay, so what are we gonna use? We're gonna use this patented tool right here, all right, to get that off. All right, so I got a lot of work to do. I just want to highlight the tool, man. Where you get it from, it don't have to be a freaking truck. All right, use your brain, guys. Alrighty, guys, real quick, y'all take a look what your boy got up, what he up against now. Car came in for a misfire code P0303. That's misfire cylinder 3. Now, guys, as y'all can see, this customer just left Cousin Pookie, right? All right, Cousin Pookie done did a tune-up already. Imagine that. Now it's here. Customer gladly paid $200 for us to check this out and diagnose it and find out what's wrong with it. Now, but what I have to do, or what I'm going to do, is backtrack what Cousin Pookie done did. So I need to check this stuff out. All these secondary ignition parts is put on the plugs. Look, guys, this coil, I don't know who make this coil. I can't even get it out, guys. This feel like it's going to break. Literally feel like it's about to snap off right here. Okay, that's why I say, man, y'all use these cheap parts. I don't know who makes this. It doesn't matter. It's not OEM Mopar, guys. We Mopar. This might be a Derman coil. This look like a Derman coil. Wait a minute. I done told Cousin Pookie back that. Well, anyway, I got to recheck everything and I did. Man, it's a short video. Y'all stay tuned for the long video. I'm out of time right now. Welcome, man. Welcome back to the channel. G-Bringer Glass. In for a ticking noise, a knocking noise. Oh boy, I don't normally. Oh my goodness, I ain't even done nothing. That's what they. Are you kidding me? Hold on. Oh, what they talking about that? Guys, I didn't even do nothing. Hold on. I know good and well they wasn't. Let me turn recirc on. Okay, I don't hear nothing. So did the recirc actuator start running as soon as I open the door? Let me turn it off. Guys, remember there's 3 modes of operation on the HVAC: recirc, blend door, and mode door. All right, that noise was one of those doors. Your job is to find out which one it was and to get it replaced. Typically it's going to end up being an actuator, but I got to find out which one it is. All right, this is a shorts video, so y'all stay tuned for the long video. Whoa.